What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Philip, your host of FL-OUTDRZ, and welcome to our third installment of the How to Fish series. Today, we're talking about something that is near and dear to my heart. Can you guess it? Come on, I'll give you a second. It's frogs. I'm so excited to talk about frogs today. It's one of my favorite baits to use of all time. Frogs are just the greatest thing since sliced bread. So, we're going to get right into it. There's two different types of frogs. There's walking frogs and popping frogs. I have both here today and we're going to talk about both of them. But first, let's get them all set up and ready to go. Alright, so first we're going to go with the walking frog. I like to take mine out of the package and do a little extra to it before I throw it in the water. Bass are opportunistic predators and they're really fat and lazy and they like an easy meal. So ladies, if I'm starting to sound like your ex-boyfriend, just try and get in that mindset. So, since we're trying to piss off our ex-boyfriend here, we're going to get ourselves a haircut. What I like to do, because most of your frog hookups aren't going to be that successful, because bass will grab at the tail instead of hitting the hooks where they are. So most of your hookups are going to miss because bass are fat and lazy. So what we're going to do with our tail is we're going to shave off about a ½ inch of trail there on both sides. Just like that. And then with walking frogs, it'll actually get a little bit more action if you trim one side just a bit shorter than the other side. So this is our new frog setup. We've trimmed the tail, given it a nice big haircut. So that way, instead of hitting the trail, most of your hookups will come off on the hooks now. So we're going to go ahead and get our walking frog in the water and see what that looks like from a bass's perspective. And then we're going to come in and talk about the popping frog. Alright, so we've got the walking frog tied on. This is a fantastic bait to go fishing with. It's completely weedless. You'll hear people talk about punching frogs a lot, and basically what they're doing is punching their frog through really thick grass, pads, lily pads, or anything like that. So this bait works really well when bass are hiding under cover on really bright sunshiny days. Generally earlier in the morning rather than later into the afternoon works best. So we'll give it a couple flicks and show you how the frog looks. One thing you want to remember with frogs is that you have to wait a couple minutes before you set the hook, a couple seconds before you set the hook. Like I said before, bass are usually looking for the easy quick bite. So a lot of times when they first strike, they catch the tails or the trailers of the frog. So you have to give them that extra second to get the rest of the frog in their mouth before you set the hook. But just to show you what we're doing, we're bumping and reeling at the same time. So we're gonna just kind of bump the tip of our rod as we're reeling. And frogs get tired just as much as anglers do, so if you want to let it sit for a second, sit near a pad or something like that, it's okay for a frog to sit. You can sit and talk to your buddies. You don't have to stay focused on frogs 100% of the time. Most of the time you'll hear it when the bass hits anyways. And you just give it a couple good jerks. And the walk-in that we're talking about is that little flicking back and forth action that the frog's doing. So even in the swimming pool, you don't have to worry. If you were to pretend like the Polaris was thick grass or weeds or something like that, the frog just crawls right over the top of it. So you really don't have to worry about hang-ups or getting snagged or anything like that. This is just one of the perfect all-around topwater lures. So that's our Walkin Frog. Now we're going to tie on the Poppin' Frog and give you a couple different views of that. Alright, so if you notice, we have here our Poppin' Frog and our Walkin Frog. The one major difference between the two is the nose of the lure. This is more for that popping, like a topwater popper, and this is more for walking. Just to show you the difference, we're not going to give our Poppin' Frog a good haircut like we did the other. Even after the haircut, sometimes the skirt sticks together, and when you pop it, it doesn't just balloon out like it's supposed to. So we're just going to kind of trim it in random places. So that way it's kind of different lengths and stuff, and that'll help it pop a little bit better when it's in the water. Just like that. So now we're going to get our frogs in the water and show you the difference. Alright, so now we have our Poppin' Frog tied on. If you'll notice, the difference that we explained before is the nose of the lure here. It's got that little indentation that really lets the action of the frog do some work in the water. It's going to be the same style of how we walked the first frog. We're just kind of going to pop the tip of our rod. So we're going to let the tip of our rod do most of the work while we're reeling. Every once in a while with the Poppin' Frog though, if you want to give it a good yank, you can do that, and it'll put vibrations through the water really well. So most of this, you're going to work your rod down at a low angle and just kind of let the tip of the rod do all the work for you. You're just reeling and tapping, and then a good yank with the Poppin' Frog will give it some of that action that it's designed to do. This is just like the Walkin Frog. It's weedless. It's great for punching through really thick grass or lily pads. But you can use this in open water too. And if you get tired or you want to talk to your buddy, you can just let it sit. There's nothing wrong with letting frogs sit. Frogs get tired while they're swimming too. So just pop and reel. Alright, that's the Walkin Frog. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching our video today. I'm Philip with FL-OUTDRZ, and you've just watched our video on frogs. Don't forget, once we get to 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick 10 people at random to give away a free cell phone case with the FL-OUTDRZ logo on it. Go ahead and like us on Facebook, click the thumbs up button. If you have any how-to videos that you'd like to see or anything you'd like to learn about, just leave them in the comment section for me below. Thanks for watching. Get outdoors.